October. Just back and forth. At the moment, we have 1 billion of puts hitting the books. And at some point, the buyers are going to fumble this, and it's going to be, that's all she wrote. It's just a matter of time. Trump announces the new Fed chair. New Fed chair is being announced. So this guy is definitely hawkish and pro rate cuts and pro small Fed. Kevin Warsh. He was also on the Fed on the committee for UPS, by the way, United Postal Service. What's up, baby? How's it going, YouTube? Yeah, silver's getting demolished. Silver's getting demolished. Yeah, UPS announced 30,000 layoffs. 30,000. What's up, noob? So, what are we doing today? We are, of course, playing the 3 C's. We are going to be patient. We're not going to be jabronis. We are going to play the 3 C's. Large kind of shakeout here, back and forth, top wick, bottom wick, craziness. 25,860 here on NASDAQ. We have got, like I said, tremendous amount of put buying on the tape here. So I'm curious what they're going to do with this. Of course, we've been seeing pretty heavy selling out of the gate now for a while. And now, of course, they're going to go green with it to kind of pivot people. And now they're going to go up 860, 870, 880, so on and so forth, all the way up. Massive green candle to undo pretty much all of the red. But I'm curious to see how the buyers are going to deal with this out of the open. $25,900 already. Let's go take a look at the ES. We have 69.74. Oh, stupid little thing. Always does that. Man, that candle got demolished. I was trying to fix that indicator, and they demolished that green candle all the way down. Crushed. So 852, they popped it up to 920 and then demolished that candle. Huge sweeping top wick. $980 million on puts purchased here, as the buyers have tried to do something with it, but then they just got crushed. So, of course, if they continue down, we'll be looking for 973. I currently do not have any positions. I'm not as confident on this particular open as yesterday. Patience is the key, baby. 848, 850. Right here. The NASDAQ is getting pummeled already out of the gate. Top wick. Screen's covered up. My apologies. Here, I need to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Is that better for you? I am desperate to get out of this freaking range, man. This is boring as boring could be. I am gonna pay a little bit closer attention on silver. I'll be honest with you. I'm scared to play silver. It is moving so much that you have to be absolutely on the money. You have to be a sniper on silver to make money. Otherwise, you are going to get prolapsed. So you got to be very delicate with it. Saw your post on X. Yeah, I had a little fun with it. I actually got a kick out of that. That was one of those jokes where I made where I laughed too much at myself, which means it's probably a bad joke. So, all right, top wick on NASDAQ here. 884 million in puts, 742 million in calls. IRS in 2026 is making a change. The first-time penalty abatement is automatic in 2026. So key if you have ever paid penalties on taxes. I'm also terrified of the metals. Nice tofu. Yeah, it's a lot. It's scary, and I find myself whenever I'm looking for an entry on silver, I find myself second guessing myself, which tells me that's a big no-no. Anytime you second guess yourself, nope, shut it down. It's not worth it. No bueno. Repeat that tax statement. The IRS has a rule that if you are typically a good sheep, meaning you pay your taxes like a good little boy or girl, and you've never had an issue, if you happen to have a circumstance where you forget to pay or don't pay and they charge you penalties and interest, you can claim the what's it called, tax abatement, one-time tax abatement, and they'll wipe all of the tax penalties retroactively as well. Well, now they're making it automatic. So I guess in 2026 they'll automatically forgive penalties automatically. That's what they announced. So if you've ever had penalty on your tax payments, there you go. What you do, I mean, I read the article. I've never heard of this before. You can call them and just say, hey, I want to claim the first time tax penalty abatement, and they won't give it to you unless you specifically ask for it. And then they'll say, oh, okay, cool, you're done. See ya. Never heard of it, but hey, I might go a year without paying taxes and see what happens. Silver's very thin on the book. It'll spread will ruin your portfolio. Yeah. I was red pre-market silver. It got me back with a green snipe. Nice, Martin. Well done, buddy. All right, NASDAQ recovered back up. They take 3 hours to answer the phone. Yeah. Last time I had a conversation with the IRS, it was, I don't know, 8 months ago or so, and I was on the phone with them, and they asked me a question that I didn't know the answer to, so I had to ask my wife, who was sitting next to me. And I was like, hey, babe, the person is asking me this, and the second I started talking to my wife, the agent on the phone freaked out, like yelling at me, sir, you can't do that. I'm going to end this call right now if you talk to that person again. I'm like, I think we're forgetting who you work for. You work for me. Anyway, a little bit of green here up to 920. Oh yeah, apparently you're not allowed to talk to anybody else when you're on the phone, and they freaked out. Silver's putting on a little bit of a bounce, but like I said, terrifies me. NASDAQ is still back and forth. So, I don't really see a lot of interest in playing right now. I'm not in anything. I'm looking to see what the news is saying. I'm a little behind on the news this week because of what happened at the beginning of the week, so I apologize. Let's see what we have. Tech is all mixed, up and down, red and green. Today, that's earnings. I don't want earnings. We have Exxon, by the way, reporting today, and American Express. All right. At 9:45, we have Chicago PMI, which is a 3-star event. At the top of the hour, we have nothing. So that is it. The only thing we have left today in terms of a news headline is 9:45 Chicago PMI. NASDAQ, another top wick on the 15, I mean. Here's the 5-minute. Coming off. Let's see if we can get some extension for once. This extension would be nice. I was red pre-market silver, got me green. There you go. Anyone trading SPY? Yeah, well, not SPY directly, but I'm trading the S&P and NASDAQ, so when I do take a trade. Was it Mr. 50 on the other line? Probably. It probably was him, I'll have you know I grinded my trailing drawdown back to good standing with MGZ. There you go. Nice fill. Nice fill. Yeah, we were discussing last night the trailing drawdown with TPT and people's problems with it, which admittedly it's very difficult. It's very difficult. But once you get through it, man, it's like the promised land. It's like the clouds part and the sun shines. Can you trade MGC on TPT? I don't know. I'll have to be honest with you. I don't know. I've never tried to trade micro gold on TPT. Kevin Warsh, the new Fed committee appointed by Trump, is married to Jane Lauder. Jane is a billionaire heiress to a cosmetic company called Estee Lauder. Jane's father is Ronald Lauder, a longtime friend of Trump and Netanyahu. Uh-oh. It's all connected, baby. It's all connected. Dun dun dun. ES is 69.79. Nasdaq is bottom wicking to go up to 25,900. Silver is still chilling at 100.5. Is the SPY a buy right now? I'm not sure. Right now, I am kind of in a wait and see type of scenario. The market. This is the chart here since October. I mean, this is. I think everyone, no matter what, how you view this chart, can determine that this is absolutely atrocious. So, you know, I've been carrying an official distribution thesis since October 9th. And, you know, half the time I can see the argument that I'm wrong, and half the time I am reaffirmed that I'm right. So I have no idea. Right now I'm just pausing and waiting until whoever wins, wins. You know, obviously Trump does not want this market to go down. He's doing everything he can to keep this market go down. And then we're kind of in this little melt-up scenario where the market is not going to go down because the next time it does go down, it's going to be the big move down. So it doesn't want to start. It's kind of like when you're, you know, when you need to go for like a 10-mile run, you don't want to do it, but you just got to do it. Just start. Big time warning. If you're using TradingView linked with a broker, I linked my TradeStation and took a long on gold. The order didn't appear on my screen or on my order book or on TradeStation or TradingView. So I took it again. Same thing, I took it again and again and again and again until my brokerage said I exceeded liquidity limit. Nothing appeared. I closed and signed out of the evening. Nothing. Meanwhile, gold was blasting. So I redid this doing time. TradingView glitched and had no screen. I reconnected and saw I had 7 minis open. I panicked. Close a position. The broker refused to close my position. Had to redo the log out. Close, reconnect again. Finally was able to close. Horrendous experience, but it worked in my favor. Uh-oh. Yeah, that ain't no good, man. That's the last time I ever scalped my personal account on TradingView. Yeah, I'd never recommend that anyway. I never recommend linking your personal brokerage to TradingView anyway. We have a pretty aggressive options move in all things considered here. Calls spiked over to $1 billion and then has dropped. Puts dropped to $1 billion and then bounced back up to 600. I'm not really doing anything. I haven't taken a single trade yet, so I'm just kind of watching, I'll be honest with you. Four minutes, we have 3-star event. Four more minutes. A little bit of a top wick. Why are you not recommending it? You talking about connecting to TradingView? You know, if you want to connect with your prop firm, so be it. I have nothing against that, but connecting it to your personal brokerage account, I don't trust it. I don't want to give any application access to my personal brokerage account. Not to mention what Kennedy just said. Like now I'm going to risk TradingView problems eating up my real money. Like no thanks, no thanks. There's a reason why. I use IBKRs because it's one of the best, and I want to keep it that way. And when you bring in other variables like TradingView, you're gonna dilute that. Plus, you know, you got the OPSEC of it. You know, somebody hacks TradingView, they can get access to my money. No thanks. A little bit of top wick here on Nasdaq. We have a little bit of shakeout here, 900 or so. Red candles coming back over. Aggressive call selling here. A little bit of put buying. We have data in 2 minutes. Start the weekend with a discount. That's right. I don't trade through TradingView, just the broker. Nice. All right. So, obviously we have this little channel forming right here, kind of hacking it up back and forth. I am waiting for a high volume spike with the top wick for any kind of short indication. Otherwise, it's going to kind of continue to drift. The option chain is going into call selling, put selling again. If it fails this, we'll play low of the day of 25,812. We do have data in 1 minute, so be careful. Do you see my previous question that I typed? Negative. I will be starting to trade on MEQ. How much should my trailing stop be? I can't answer that question. I do not recommend setting trailing stops based on dollar amounts. I set my trailing stops based on the structure of the market that I'm identifying. Anytime you make a decision based on a dollar amount, usually it's the wrong decision. AKA setting a break-even stop. Setting a stop based on locking in $1,000 or losing $1,000. Upset, am I a pilot? Well, yes I am. Why do you ask? All right, here's the data. A lot of call selling here. A lot of call selling here. A lot of call selling, put buying after the data. 25,871, 873. Whew, man, they are selling a crap ton of calls here. Crap ton of calls. Price action is just slow. All right, let's go take a look at silver real quick. Silver is still going up. We have a little bit of a top wick into the 100.55. I've been around long enough to remember that you used to be saying that I was not a pilot and using and issuing keyboard warrior rations of crap. Yeah. It's funny because that's something that's so easily verifiable, but it's like whatever. All right, NASDAQ is still kind of sliding. We have tons of put selling, or I'm sorry, call selling here. So it's kind of the opposite of yesterday. Tremendous put selling yesterday. Today's tremendous call selling. And here we are just sliding lower. Just wait for volume. Right now we have no real volume spikes here, so I'm not really too quick to jump on a position here. I know in the past a ton of calls have been sold in the morning and then SPX rips up 20 points. How do we know the call selling was legit? Well, we don't. It's a little soon. That's why I'm not putting on a position at the moment. I would love to have a 3C that correlates what I'm seeing on the option chain. So right now, I don't see a lot of great activity to get me in. There's a couple of arguments you can make for maybe a weak 3C, but you know, I'm not here for weak 3Cs. You know, here's a retest of Kennedy's trend line. $882, $883. Top wick off of it. And everyone else wanting to see positions on TradingView, all you need to do is get a prop account that works with TradingView, get a trade copy of your prop account. Your position will not wait for connectivity, give you instant fills, probably going. There you go. Nice juice box. Back in the game and finally turning a profit. Just deposited from 2 accounts today. Got one more going pro. Look at that, Prep Pastor. I freaking love it, man. Well done. Well done. Made $200 a day on 5 accounts and a 1K deposit. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. Think of prop trading as you're getting a second job. This is your job. Treat it like a professional, even if it is small paying right now. Don't gamble. Do that. $200 a day, 5 accounts is $1,000. I like it. And of course, proper risk mitigation. The roof is dropping. It is. Silver was down 14% at one point. Now it's only down 12. NASDAQ, top wicking off of the trend line here. Another attempt at the trend line. We have call selling, put selling, both kind of doing the same thing here. I don't see a lot here. I don't see a lot that I like, at least. I don't like trading off a trend line, so I'm definitely not going to look for a rejection off of this stuff. Plus, I have no volume. We have no more data today, at least from a headline post. Next week, we have a couple of 3-star events, but nothing crazy. Jolt job openings on Tuesday. Of course, there is a risk of the government shutdown at the end of the month, which is essentially today. We have non-farm payroll on Friday, next Friday. What does Polymarket say that the government's going to shut down on? There's a Polymarket saying 77% chance that the government shuts down again on Saturday. So we already had a prolonged shutdown this past fall. Now they're saying again. All right, a little bit of green move here. Me personally, I'm not in a trade yet. I can't believe how fast January has passed. Dude, it's unbelievable. I mean, as you get older, the time just like time warps. It's like blowing the whistle in Mario 3. You just skip ahead a couple of levels. Open a new test and was not able to use the code OMTPT code during the process. Is there any way TPT can apply the code retroactively? I think what would have to happen is that they would have to refund you for the account and you sign up again. So just contact their customer service and do that. I think someone's done that before, and that's how they fixed it. I read somewhere it's your eyes. When you're a kid, you get so many frames per second. As you age, you get fewer and fewer, so sometimes you feel like it's speeding up. I think it's always distraction, man. Like us as adults, we're always distracted by something. Work, kids, family, yourself, trading, everything else, and it's just, you don't notice. I mean, heck, even in trading, days fly by. ES is coming up. Silver, potentially 3C here. If you have the huevos to put on a short position, we might have a 3C on silver into 101.03. The real 3C would be 99.198. The 1 minute is starting to deteriorate off the top wick with volume. So there you go. That's the stuff you want to wait for with silver. If you're going to play silver, you have to wait for outlier volume spikes. You have to, or you're going to get wrecked. As you get older, the time left is like a roll of toilet paper. It goes quickly at the end. I like it. As a NASDAQ trader, shall I just look at Q data, or do I have access to SPY and SPX? You can. I mean, most of the time they're going to move kind of in tandem, but obviously there's going to be times where they detach. And you do want to be very specific. If you're a NASDAQ trader, you definitely want to be specific with the NASDAQ data. So you could track NDX options flow. You could track Q options flow. They're going to be the same. All right, top wick. $25,869 on NASDAQ, dropping back over again. Silver's coming on the 3C. So first potential 3C on silver. Again, you need to play very delicately on silver. NASDAQ is still doing this. Look at that beautiful move on volume. Tell me volume doesn't work. Tell me volume doesn't work. Let me hear you saying 281 million calls sold. They're still selling calls on the S&P, and we're still dropping. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That is what I'm talking about. Speaking of Mario 3, the reason why I made that reference is because, my kids have a Nintendo Switch, and on Nintendo, you can play the old Mario games on Nintendo. So I've been playing Mario 3. I'm firmly believe that a lot of anger issues were initiated by playing that game. I think it caused a lot of the Gen X community, or Gen X people, to have a lot of anger issues. My goal strategy has to do with sweeping pivot points followed by large volume spikes and top-bottom wicks depending on level. Would this get me wrecked in NASDAQ? A potentially viable strategy. Goal is too viable to trade. No, not at all. In fact, what you're identifying is kind of a 3C of sort. Waiting for volume, confirming with the wicks, and then the 3C, then the third C. Man, look at that move on silver. What a freaking move that is. Extraordinary. Now explains I am why I am. Why do you say that? Dude, that just the aggravation of the game when you hit a spot where you just can't get through. Some turtle comes up and just bops you on the head. During the 3C process, does the candle with high volume need to be the opposite of the trend? It depends on where the volume is hitting. So if price action is dropping, and then near at the bottom somewhere you see an incredibly high volume spike, that tells me that we've hit demand. And then if you correlate that with an extremely strong bottom wick, hey, that's demand. There's a bounce coming, at least small. I need to exploit that. Spot Gamma right now is showing 265 million calls sold and 665 million puts purchased. Although the puts are trending back towards positive delta, the calls are trending towards negative delta, so we have a bit of a kind of impasse right here with the calls on puts. So it's not giving me a lot of clear data, and they're not outlier enough to get me really banking on it anyway. Right now we have this back and forth range. We're smack dab in the middle. I'm not taking a trade on NASDAQ at the moment or the S&P. Define the 3 C's again if you don't mind. Sure, 3 C's stand for 3 criteria. The first criteria is volume, second criteria is wick, third criteria is price action analysis, follow through. Mario exposing some deep previously unidentified anger issues. What's great about, because I'm a firm believer, the modern day man has very little outlets to get out that to get out the manliness, because obviously you can't freak out and get angry. You have to have some outlet to get that rage out. I've got an AR-15 about 3 feet from my desk with a fully loaded 30-round magazine. Haha, take that, California. And then living on 50 acres, I'll just open up my door and I'll sling off 30 rounds if I have a bad trade. Man, it feels great. You ever slung off 30 rounds of an AR-15 as fast as you possibly can? It's amazing. And then I feel instantly better. It's like therapy. People pay $500 an hour for therapy? No. Come over your boy's OM's house and blast off some rounds. You'll feel instantly better. It's great. I read somewhere that people who play video games in the 90s are more resilient. There's no guide or reset button. You just got to figure it out. Versus nowadays, YouTube tutorials. Yep, I agree with that. I agree with that. NASDAQ is dead flat. Silver is getting wrecked on the volume spike. See this? This was extraordinary. This was just... Mwah! Chef's kiss. My dad and I used to goose hunt from his bedroom window. That's awesome. I smell a little freedom. Dude, there's nothing better than the smell of spent gunpowder. Sounds like a good time. Yeah, buddy. After a couple mags, your whole body feels it. It's like deep tissue massage. You ain't kidding, dude. I'm telling you. Do something manly. If you're a man, go do something manly. You know, beat a punching bag, go chop some wood, shoot some guns. If you're Italian, beat your wife. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Don't do that. Hey, take it easy. I'm just kidding. All right, red's coming over. Hey, yo, hey. How's your mother? NASDAQ is getting wrecked here. We have put buying, call selling. Looking on to the low of the day touch. We take that out. We're going down to overnight lows. Or I guess overnight pivots. It's 25,754. Volume's coming in at the low of the day. Fantastic. All right, there's low of the day. Let me turn it back on. Boom, there's low of the day. I'm going to take that crap off. I love it. Just shoot it till it drops. That's awesome, Dave. I love it. Top wicks back over. There's silver. There's NASDAQ top wicking. Let's take a look. Man, aggressive put buying. $920 million in puts purchased. That's crazy stuff, dude. So we are defending the day's lows right here. If this is where they want to breach it, then we're going to have a bit of a move here. A bit of a move. Love your sarcasm. Got to have a little sarcasm in there. 25,831. Silver's still getting demolished, dude. That is a beautiful 3C if I've ever seen one. Beautiful 3C. Look at that. Silver's coming down to their low of the day of 97.62. Do not front run silver. It will front run you if you try to front run it. I find satisfaction in blowing up old tree stumps with a set of 6 double-aught buckshot. Heck yeah. How about a 100-pound pail of tannerite? Another bottom wick on NASDAQ. Another bottom wick on NASDAQ. With volume, too. With volume. High volume. Let's see if we get it for 3C. This price action is pretty much abysmal. So you need on the that's silver. On NASDAQ, how do you even get a 3C out of this? Every single 5-minute candle is inside the last. So technically you need 25,906 for a 3C on the 5. Heck, maybe go down to the 3-minute. 3 minutes still just as bad. 1 minute, I mean, it's just awful. Looking at the silver short a few minutes ago, where would you pull the trigger to go short? I know it's hindsight, but I just want to know what you're thinking. Well, it depends on where you want to play it. You know, in silver, on the 1 minute, you could, if you're aggressive, you could play the short off high volume, which I don't recommend on silver. If you're playing on the 5, I mean, anywhere under right here of 100.005 is where you want to start looking to get short. And of course, they retest it on this candle, and then they dump it all the way back over. Silver's coming off. I mean, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Another top wick on NASDAQ. If they take this out, I'm going to be gunning for 753. 753. Price action is pretty terrible. 836 down to 806. Top wick down to 830, 828. Drilled a little too tight on some silver options. Nice. Will the ship sink? It does look like it's going to do it. I don't see a lot of buying here, but it's still, I mean, there's no confirmation for anything. Nothing seeing overly convincing at direction at this point. I thought it'd trend down more aggressively for a minute, but then reverses and climbs. You're exactly right. So. Put buying, call selling is what we're seeing here, but volume is stopping this thing right here. You see this volume spike at 959 right here into 807. There we go. 854 back up. 5 minute definitely looking more bearish. Yeah. It's just. We have this little trend that's this trend line. It's kind of dealing with at the moment. This little channel, but it's still just kind of going here. We have a little high volume support, which is good for the buyers. And we're coming all the way up to 860 or so. But there's no follow through. Every candle's expanded, contracted, expanded, contracted. So top wick, bottom wick, expansion, back and forth. And now we're just kind of pulling away just a little bit here, 868 or so. We have 681 million of puts. We have 491 million calls. $870 on NASDAQ. Big bullish move here, of course. There goes the 3 C's. The 3 C's went out again. The 3 C's went out again. It's good stuff, baby. Good stuff. Silver's bouncing. Nice. NASDAQ is going, baby. So nice little healthy move on NASDAQ here, all the way up to 890. $894. That was a tough one to take. Yeah, I mean, it's like if you look on the 5, it's just nonsense. Like all this, you wouldn't get a 5-minute confirmation on 3C till like right now. So there's nothing here to really take unless you're just putting on some extremely quick scalps on the 1 minute, which I don't want to do at the moment. So, whatever. Silver's just blasting after a little bit of recovery. Sitting my hands so far? Yeah. Does anyone trade at NASDAQ? Yeah, I'm trading. I trade a couple of different things at the moment. I'm watching NASDAQ because S&P is, S&P and NASDAQ are both quite flat. Silver is putting on some decent moves. That was a beautiful trade right there. So silver's coming off. NASDAQ is still chilling here at 870. We have a little bit of call buying hitting. We've got 700 million worth of calls at the moment. A couple of bottom wicks on NASDAQ right here, 880. $900 million calls? No. Just chilling. Look at those trend lines. Yeah, buddy. I find the first trade of the day to be the morning mental block, so I try to take one. Hey, that's a great idea, man. Just kind of shake the dust off, ease into things. I like it. I like it. I like it. All these little mental games that you can kind of set yourself up with to win is a good idea. It's a good idea. Silver's going nicely. Call buying and put buying now? Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like it. What does this say? Looks like we're going to get a little bit of a boring Friday here. I don't think there's much profit taking left in the market. New long should be rewarded. We'll see. We'll see. You know, we're just kind of chilling. I am going to mute. I'll be back in a couple minutes. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. All right. Let's see. Silver is still there. NASDAQ is still here. We have, man, tons of call buying, put selling. Had a good week. No trading for me. Nice, Damien. Well done. Sweet, sweet bench press. Yeah, buddy. We had a little volume come in on this 10-11 candle, but this is dead, dead flat. All right, 25,905. Just back and forth, a little bit of a top wick. 900. Very flat. Today very well may be a no trade session. A no trade session. Gold school, go to protein shakes. So SPX will rip. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Crazy stuff, man. Just going. Silver starting to go here too. Yeah, I don't see anything here, dude. This is as awful gets. So, which it's Friday. Friday is typically one or two ways. Either it's insane trend or just so flat you can't touch it. And obviously it's picked the flat version. $25,903 NASDAQ. It's gold 3Cs. Trying to confirm. Maybe. We'll see. Silver's still going here. So the only thing I've really identified was the silver short signal there. And we do have a 3C long as well. So we have a 3C short, 3C long. Silver's very clean, which I can't really say the same for NASDAQ. NASDAQ is just a dumpster fire. Clean, clean. 99, 380. Anyone else less than thrilled to see this kind of action? I don't enjoy it because of the whiskey. Yeah, it's just terrible. Seen this before, strap in. 764 million calls sold, 33 million puts purchased. Is Powell speaking? Nope. Powell's not speaking. We do have, I think, an FOMC speech later today, but not much. Not much. No, today's not OPEX. Nasdaq a little bit of red. Silver's coming down. Would you have considered a 3C on gold in the 10 a.m.? Let's take a look. 10 a.m. Yes, I would have. 100%. I mean, look at it. High volume, bottom wick, and then right here into 5040.1. Nasdaq, couple of top wicks. Big red candle on Nasdaq. Nice. Maybe finally getting out of the range, maybe. We'll see. You're learning? Nice, Walker. Nice. It's not OPEX? No, it's not OPEX. OPEX is January 16th. So it's the end of the month. Typically, OPEXs are in the middle of the month, not the end of the month. Soybean futures looking better than this. Well, let's play some soybean. I want to short soybean into the floor, man. NASDAQ bottom wick, silver, a little bit of red candle. Silver continued to do some crazy stuff, dude. Crazy stuff. Is Powell speaking right now? Not that I'm aware of. I'd, oh, that's the second person who's asked that. Is Powell speaking right now? I don't see anything that's showing that he's speaking. NASDAQ looks like it's making piano keys on the 5. Yeah. Silver might be putting on a decent move here. NASDAQ is just creeping. This is awful. I'm not trading any bit of this. Nothing. Silver was the only good setup. I'm going to give it 40 more minutes. I'm probably going to make a lovely breakfast for the fam. There you go. A little bit of some breakfast, good stuff. NASDAQ's coming off again, looking for 806. We have option chain is not really moving, so this is purely price action here. Looking for 805. Sellers have tried 4 times this week to sell it. Sellers have tried for 4 months to sell it. Buyers have also tried 4 months to have had 4 months to get it up there, and they can't do it. So we've been dead flat now since October. No movement whatsoever. At some point, we got to get out of this range. Got to get out of it. Top wick back over NASDAQ. From 835, they can't quite get it down just yet, but the overall target will be 805 right here, if they can make it happen. We have a lot of put buying at the moment. They are piling into puts. So is all this shakeout simply for a retest of lower prices? 682 million puts. Engulfing red candle is about to be engulfed back to green. So typical, just back and forth. Back and forth. Oh, man. 700 million puts purchased. Uh-oh. They going to do it? They just smoked that green candle, too. They just smoked that green candle. They going to do it? Are they going to give us another dumperoni with cheese? I love dumperonis with cheese. Put a little anchovies on there too for safe measure. Let's do it. Let's do it. What's up, McGabagooley? Last night I was playing in my basketball league and I probably suffered an MCL sprain. Uh-oh. That ain't no good. Let's take a look. I was going to ask to review MGC. All right. MGC or a GC. Am I looking at the 1 minute volume too tightly? Entered on the 5 minute pulled stop with volume on the 1 wicks. Here's the deal. Price action bounces. So you're talking about a short position, Dave, right? So you have a 3C bounce correlated on the 5 minute. I don't like immediately looking for like a short entry like that. So you're long going up. I see what you're saying. Hold on. I don't see what you're saying. I'm confused. NASDAQ just got wrecked. New low of the day for NASDAQ. Look at the put buying. 937 million puts. Look at this. Hold on. Bear with me, Dave. Let me take a look at stuff. Come on, baby. Give me something to work with. I'll just sit here and eat my pre-gym PB&J. Hey, dude, PB&J is good for the glycogen spike for pre-workout. Coming on down to 7:53 will be the pivot from 8:30 Eastern time, if they can get there. Tremendous amount of puts. Somebody might be talking right now. We got a lot going on here. Somebody might be talking. There might be a speech or two going on at the moment because options activity is a little bit of craziness at the moment. It's a little bit of craziness at the moment. Wow, look at that. 970 million puts purchased. They are piling into puts at the moment and selling off a crap ton of calls. Crazy amount of puts on the books. Crazy amount of puts on the books. And they are piling into them. If they can hold this bread, we are going to come on down to 753. But they got to do it right now. Crazy amount of puts. $900 million. So far, what is that, a 50-point bounce on NASDAQ? All the way back up. Going, baby. Just going. Going. Failing the morning high. So they're coming up and retest the morning high, or I'm sorry, the morning low. And then top week off. They put on a tremendous amount of puts, though. Tremendous amount of puts. Well, I thought it was going to get fun there for a second, but unfortunately not yet. We'll see if it continues. Just got to be patient. Just got to be patient. Top wick again, 800. They're kind of dealing with the morning low here. This is your re-entry target. So if they can kind of deal with this 792 and re-enter, we'll make a move down to 753. Iran strike this weekend? Possibly. 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 I know they said they were positioning for it, so we'll see. Glued to the morning low, baby. The buyers can't hold it. The sellers can't get away from it. Glued to the morning low. We have 500 million They've sold off 1 billion of calls. 1 point, a little less than 1 billion, but right at a billion. So if they can give out this morning low, we'll test 753. Another top wick on the 1 minute. Big green all the way back up. Every single dip for the past 4 months has been immediately bought up. Doesn't matter how big, how small, how big volume, top wicks, it's all bought up. Artificially. That's why we're dead flat. 3C's coming on here. 20, 25, 877. Big green on the yes. Coming up. Coming up. Tremendous amount of calls being purchased and puts being sold. The options chain is being whipsawed as aggressively as this price action. Does the hero tool only show zeros? No, you can switch back and forth between zeros or long term. Did I do something to my voice? I don't think so. Did it sound different? Let's go take a look at silver. Silver's going. NASDAQ is going. Another big red candle, back and forth, shaking and baking, big red, big green, big red, big green, top wick, bottom wick, side to side, shake and bake, put your left foot in, put your left foot out, shake it all about, over and over again. This is just a grinder. This is just a grinder. You will get absolutely destroyed if you play this on NASDAQ. Red candles, back down. Whipsawing back and forth, red and green, top wick, bottom wick. Here's another green after another red. Right smack dab in the middle of the range. Can you recap what's valid trades for today? NASDAQ, I haven't touched anything. The only thing to really go with here, in my opinion, was silver. Silver put on a fantastic 3C short and a pretty decent 3C long here, too, if you want to play both sides of it. But NASDAQ was nothing. NASDAQ, this is destruction right here. When you get closer to the mic, it sounds different. Please come live every day. Yeah, I trade live every day. Tuesdays and Thursdays is locked for the Discord, but I am streaming every morning. Another big green on NASDAQ. See if it can reclaim. Absolutely no. If you notice, there's no follow through. Every candle is wicked back and forth, expands and contracts. So there's no follow through on these candles because there's no volume. Tremendous amount of put selling and call buying. Tremendous amounts. So they just flipped it on a dime. It went from heavy, heavy put buying, and they flipped that, sold them all off. Now they're buying calls. Can't really get through 880 because we're smack dab in the middle. But of course, we do have the volume at 9:35 or at 10:35 Eastern. Silver is still chilling. What time is it? 9:39. Oh man, I'm hungry. I need some breakfast. What about starting my own? I'm thinking about starting my own YouTube and Discord channels where I tell everyone to do the opposite of what I do. People will make millions. You know how many times I've heard that comment though, man? Just people kind of that self-deprecating. But I get it. It's fun. Sometimes you just get into that point where everything's terrible. Um, but when that happens, the market is unreadable because the market is inherently like that goes into a deeper conversation. The market is inherently unpredictable. When the market gets like this, there's nothing to be traded. There's nothing to be traded. So that's kind of the beauty of the 3Cs is that if I don't see something high confidence, I'm not touching it. And if I do elect to kind of quote unquote gamble on a position, then it's going to be very small. When uncertainty goes up, your level of risk has to go down, and vice versa. So with this, like I'm sitting here watching NASDAQ whip back and forth. Why would I even expose myself to this? This is awful. This is absolutely awful. This is as terrible as a scalping situation gets for me because there's no clear entry. There's no clear direction. The volume is incredibly light. They are whipsawing every candle back and forth. The 1, 5, and 15-minute candles are expanding and contracting countless times, which means even if you do put on a position, you're probably going to get wicked out before it goes in your direction. Options are just going back and forth, millions off, millions on. So in my opinion, this is an absolute no-go session. And I'll further go on to say this. If your system is always identifying entries, then you don't have a system. If you can always find a setup, then you don't have a system. Your system is not specific enough. Turn up the specificity of your criteria to the point where it does filter out days like this where you just shouldn't even be taking an entry. The thing is, the market bores you into taking horrible trades. Yeah. ES is trapped perfectly between R1 and S1. Right here? Yeah. Prediction on which one will break? Honestly, I have no idea. I have tried to figure out which way this market's going to go, but I am literally just throwing my hands up and saying whatever happens, happens. This is some of the worst. I would rather take 2018 price action than this. This just back and forth, signal on, signal off, wiki crap for 4 months. This is awful. This is awful. So, I'm literally just kind of chilling until something breaks here. We are at a crossroads here. We have an impasse where on one side of that you have macroeconomic conditions, you have distribution, you've got all of this price action. On the other half, you have a president who refuses to let the market drop. Every single time the market goes down more than 0.2%, he posts a tweet, and the market rebounds and goes up. We have a president who's very much wanting to be involved in the headlines. Every day there's a speech, every day there's a press conference, every day there's a headline, where prior to him, we couldn't even wake the president up long enough to have a speech for 15 minutes. I mean, he went like 6 months without a single public appearance. So, and the market is very reactive to the words that he says. And because of that, this market is kind of sitting in waiting area. 26,000. It's just pinned there for 4 months, not moving anywhere. We have despite the fact that most of megacaps sold off, got demolished, and yet Nasdaq stayed put, except for Google. Google, of course, went vertical. So all that to say is that I'm not even going to figure out where this thing goes. Distribution, whatever, whatever. I'm just going to play the 3 C's and get my chunk of the change. I don't mess with VIX, but curious, do they have hero on it? They do have hero on it, yes. Which, by the way, the VIX still holding 1678. Another top wick on NASDAQ. Let's go to the 1 minute chart here. What do we got? Hmm, 898. The fourth C is confidence. Yeah, I have the 4C as location, but yeah, definitely. Cannot trade minis on precious metals at the moment unless your buffer is nice and account as well, not with these wicks. We're back to 15 to 20% stop environment. Yeah, it's you got to be very, very delicate. If you don't have an incredibly high amount of volume at a location, then you don't even need to be looking to trade silver. And you think to yourself, well, these moves are so sustained, I can just get in a move, right? Just pick the direction and get in. You better have a big buffer because if you're looking at the 1 minute candles, at the 5 minute candles, at the close of them, you're not considering what's happening between that 60-second period or the 5 minute period when the wicking back and forth and then goes. That wick on the 1 minute, the 1 minute wicks on silver will destroy pretty much every single prop account in existence on any company unless you have a buffer. You might be able to get away with one wick if you're on like the 150,000 accounts would have like a $4,500 buffer. You may be able to get away with a wick on one single mini contract, but if you're not spot on the money, you're going to get wrecked. Ask me how I figured that out. I had to go to Walgreens and buy the industrial case of Preparation H after trading silver in December. Silver's coming off 98.57. Is it a good idea to take a position today on precious metals? Is there Iran over the weekend? They pop up on Monday. Maybe. I don't know how much the silver trade is correlated to Iran, but I don't know. I still don't even know why we're in Iran. It's like, well, never mind. I think we all know why we're in Iran. But it was better when we were under 100 on ATR range, $10. Yeah, yeah. Silver is 98.57. NASDAQ is still going. Coming right up to the high of the day. Right here. Tremendous amount of put selling. I mean, puts are vertical right now. Calls are vertical. Tremendous. Tremendous. Pump it. There you go. It's going. Tesla stopping the crash. Yeah, Tesla is rocketing, baby. They're up 5.5%. Good stuff, man. This is how my trading tends to go. 3 trades a day is max. Option 1, option 2. I tell you, yeah, I mean, you're 100% right, dude. I mean, that's the exact same thing for me, too. If I start going past 3 trades, it's like Mr. Magoo's starting to trade. It's just like fumbling around in the dark. You know why that is, though? That's not paranormal, you know? That's because market conditions aren't the same throughout the entire session. You've got the first 30 minutes, which is manipulation. You've got after that, from 10 o'clock till about 11:30, you've got momentum, and then you've got the algorithmic trading. Anything past 11 o'clock till about 1 o'clock is algorithmic trading, the high frequency traders, the back and forth nonsense. And then you've got the last 2 hours of the day or so, which is the session, the momentum session for the next, or the momentum movement for the next session. So refine your trades to those periods. You're not meant to sit here and trade all day. You're just going to lose. Every now and then you'll be able to make some good money, but you're just going to lose. Democracy. You are just going to lose. Nvidia started to go. I think it's because China decided they don't want our H200 chips. For the first time ever, they posted news headline today that they don't want our H200 chips. So of course Nvidia rockets. AVGO is flat. Nasdaq is still chilling. 44 million puts sold. That's after being up $1 billion. Silver there. Gold there. If people want to trade silver but are scared of how the futures move, they can also trade silver options and even shares. Yeah, in my opinion, this is the time to trade silver options, where you don't have to deal with the back and forth nonsense. So it's one of the reasons why when S&P gets very volatile, I switch to SPX options. Like 2022 was predominantly options for me. And when things go a little tighter, I'll trade futures because I don't have to worry about the nit and gritty of ticks and leverage. I just put on my options play, I take my hands off, kick back, and see what happens. Nasdaq is getting wrecked. Well, I only did identify 2 plays there on silver. Other than that, you know, I'm not touching Nasdaq. So dealing with the power outage this week and all that stuff, and not sleeping for 3 days, and then trading, and I think I'm gonna once my time comes here to an end here in about 30 minutes, I am locking it down. I'm gonna get some lunch. I'm gonna enjoy my weekend, even though it's supposed to be brutally cold this weekend. So. 247 million puts. Struggling with consistency. Mainly play Nasdaq. I have days where I nail it. The other days it gets out of my hand in a hurry. Do I switch to ES full time and focus my time there? You know, there are some conditions that it's very easy to make money, and there's conditions where it's very difficult. This market is getting increasingly more difficult to trade. And that's because of 2 reasons. 1, because the actual price hiking conditions are tight, and 2, people are getting aggravated with this range. Your emotions on a collective, you can see it on Twitter. There are large accounts that are starting to complain a lot about this stupid range, and that means if they're complaining on Twitter, that means they're probably taking losses. So my performance has gone way downhill. Like I was absolutely killing it from late November until last week. I couldn't miss. It was like I had a golden mouse. Couldn't miss. And now I'm still, I've taken losses, blown up a couple of accounts, but my performance has gone way down. I'm not doing nearly as well as I was since then. That's because conditions are tightening. Conditions are tightening. With that said, is that if you're finding yourself starting to struggle, then don't make it worse. Rule number one of losing trades, don't make it worse. If you've dug yourself in a hole, stop digging. Just stop. Take a day off, take an hour off, go walk around the house, go shoot some guns, go blast 30 rounds out the back door. Just don't do it in a neighborhood. And then after that, figure out what's going on. I had a giant bobcat show up in my cameras today. That was not financial advice. I'm 2 for 2, a nice profit, nice proggy. Same here. It's going to be very cold and looking 6 inches of snow at my house. Oh, man. That ain't no good. They need democracy. NASDAQ is getting clobbered. All the way down, baby. All the way down. I love seeing bobcats. Very cool animals. Yeah, they are pretty cool. I always wonder where they sleep, where they hide out in the property. When am I going to stumble across one sleeping? Are they dangerous? Nah. It's like a large cat. It's not. Mountain lions will tear you up, but bobcats, I mean, I'm sure if you cornered one of their little pups, they would probably tear you apart. But they're smaller. I can kick one hard enough, it'll get away from you. NASDAQ. Another top wick on the old NASDAQ-aroni. All right, so we had this move lower. It's just kind of drifting. We don't have any volume here to indicate that there's support, although we do have an aggressive bottom wick. And then they put on this hammer candle or inverse hammer top wick and then this intermediate green. So, but overall, there's no volume here. There's no volume. Another top wick. Three C's are causing me major problems in my life. Too much income. Nice, Wesley. I love to see it. They love to see it, baby. Just saw a tweezer. Haven't talked about those in a while. Yeah. Inverse there. We got a mountain lion on camera on my lease. Hadn't felt the same as a lot at night. Yeah, those things will jack you up, dude. Silver's bottom wicked. What do we got? What do we got? Sorry, I'm not doing too much here. I'm just looking around. I'm just looking around. Another top, another bottom wick on silver. So silver may put on a possible move. We do have a potential 3C on silver. They have a volume inflow. We have multiple bottom wicks. Multiple. With volume into their day's lows. Dude, cedar trees do not do well in ice storms. I have 100 cedar trees down that I need to cut now. It's crazy. Good news is I'll have a bunch of fence posts. Any updated strategy on TLT? Nothing updated, just buy the dip. Continue to buy TLT. Now, one thing that I need to be aware of is that the new guy that Trump elected for the Fed chair is not necessarily a bullish. He's hawkish, is what I'm trying to say, which is not good necessarily for the bond market. He is very much pro selling bonds. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. As long as it maintains above 70, 75, I'm good. Just add more to it. I think it's going to be, I think overall it's going to be, I think 2026 and 2027 are going to relieve itself of a lot of the retail traders that started post coronavirus because we're kind of exiting. We're at the part where we're in the exit door for the post coronavirus market. You know, we're 5 years. This will be 6 years since coronavirus, which blows my freaking mind. And all the traders that started are, I think they're going to kind of start finding a little bit of difficulties because the markets shift. Market always goes from bearish to bullish to flat to, you know, all that stuff, and this is no different. So now the one thing that has changed is the insaneness of prop firms. Prop firms are so amazing that you can get absolutely wrecked for 3 weeks in a row, and then you can make so much money in that 1 week that it pays for multiple months of expenditures. So, I mean, make hay while the sun's shining, baby. Make hay while the sun's shining. Will that support your tilt trade? Negative. Let's see. We've got 25835 right here. And ES is there. I see the banner TakeProfitTrader free funded account. What does that mean? I got a 50K account with a no fee 40 promo, but just curious about your note. First of all, use code OMTPT. You get 40% off, plus once you pass the evaluation, you get a credit for a free funded account. So your only cost when you sign up for TakeProfitTrader is just the eval. It's the lowest cost of entry to a funded account in the game. Doesn't be beat. Any trades today? Yeah, I took one on silver. I haven't touched anything on ES or NASDAQ. It's just absolutely awful. This to me, I know some people trade this well. I do not trade this price action very well like this. If it was a larger range, yeah, but this is just, it's whippy, back and forth. There's no clear bounds. You see every time it bounces at a different area. Here, here, here. I mean, it's just all over the place. The option chain has been whipsawed. The volume has been light. That one candle here came on that move, and then it continued higher. Can you hear me? What's his name? Where'd he go? Can you hear me backflip? Are you listening to the YouTube stream? I'm watching. I'm looking at your comments there. Surprisingly, I trade better in the range. Can you describe volume-wise what you would want to see in the breaking the range volume price? Yeah, so I trade ranges very well myself. In fact, there are some days I can make more money with the range than I can with a trend. But I have to have a couple of things for that to work. I need a clear defined range, which at this point, like I said, it's every time it bounces, it's bouncing at a different level, and the volume down here is not clear. We've had one volume spike that occurred right there at 1035, and it came on that candle where we had one candle and then it went higher. So the 3Cs aren't printing much today. We have a couple of minor volume spikes, but that's not enough to really get me into a trade. And the price action, once you confirm on the 5, it's time to reverse and go back the other way. Silver for me was a clear trade. This is what I want to see. Top wick, volume, all the way down, stop by another 3C to come back up. Sweet. So I struggle with trends that never give you an entry point. So that, in fact, I've said before, the least favorite price action for me to try to trade is those green bullish days that just launch and never ever pull back. Like they don't even touch the ADMA, where they just go, 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 go. I hate those days because I have to sit there and watch, 300 points on NASDAQ and not take a long entry because I don't get a pullback and I don't like chasing. So as long as a trend day sets up and gives me a good entry, I love trend days. I think everyone loves trend days. But if those days that just go, yeah, I hate them. I hate them. It's aggravating. Spent many days on my hands watching the thing just move with no clear pullback. And I will tell you, if you are someone who is impatient, make it a point next week Next week, it's a new month, it's a new week. Make it a point. How long can you go without taking a trade? Because when you do that, you'll be surprised the opportunities that present themselves that you otherwise would have missed because you're stuck gambling on nonsense. If you just wait and wait and wait, all of a sudden it's like the clarity will improve and you'll see the exact trade you need to take and you take it. Try it. In fact, try to make it a point. You're going to go an entire session without taking a trade unless you see an absolute unbelievable amount of volume. And then one day will turn into 2 days. And holy crap, I just went a week and I didn't take but one trade. Do it. It'll change the way you do it. It'll change the way you think. We're coming up on the close of the stream here in about 20 minutes. So if you have any questions, let me know. Man, look at that 15-minute chart. That is as bad as it gets, dude. Jeez Louise. Do I have put buying right now? Overall, we are in put buying territory, and they are selling off calls. It's just not a lot of move. You see the call option activity has been back and forth. So, you know, if we start getting into the 2 and 3 billion deltas, that's when I start to really lean into the options. But right now, the options activity is so light, it's not giving me an edge. So I'm just going to chill. It's a good day to do nothing. It's a good day to do nothing. It's a good day to do nothing. Hmm. I agree fundamentally, but prop rules go against what we should do as traders with profit target and consistency rules. With what? What's the smallest item I can trade on TPT for lowest cost? That I don't know. The micro silver, they've got a micro, I guess a fractional silver. I need to make $1 on Sunday, and we got it funded. Go into MES and just pop in and out. That's $5 a point. I think you can handle that. Oh, you're not targeting it. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Nasdaq's breaking down. I think the price action watches me when I go to get coffee. Then when I sit back and down, it takes a few pennies back. Yeah. What do the different color lines mean? The green line is calls. The blue line is puts. So, and it's presented in delta notional. When you see the puts go down in delta notional, more negative, that means put buying. When you see the calls go down, that means call selling, and then inverse. I'm new. Can you explain your 3C strategy? Yeah, sure thing, Max. What's up, buddy? 1986, I assume that is your birth year. That means, yeah, we're the same age. So I trade what's called the 3Cs, or the 3 criteria. I do have a YouTube video on it. I encourage you to go watch. But the first criteria is volume, the second criteria is wick, and the third criteria is basically price action. So the white line is the collective delta notional for all expirations, not the zeros, not just the zeros. NASDAQ is coming off here. We have more put buying. You see the green, you see the blue line here coming down right here? That means they are increasing their put buying activity. The green line coming off right here means they're increasing their call selling activity. When you have call selling and put buying together, that is a bearish sentiment, and it's coming off. And it looks like we're going to at least test the low of the range here. So, yeah. NASDAQ is 25,805, still coming off. 798, coming down to low of the day right here. Coming off the low of the day. $785. Just took out the morning low. Now they're coming down to low of the day. $783, looking for $770. Bounce right off of it. When I lived in Colorado, they would kill silver hikers every year, sneak up behind them. Sounds like a Japanese bear. You need a new thermal optic, pistol optic, yeah. I trade SPY. I read the volume price analysis book you recommended. Well, actually, I listened on Audible. Very good understanding. Nice, Rob. Yeah. I mean, all of my 3C concepts come from her book. In fact, there's nothing different about the 3Cs than the VPA that she teaches. I put it in a format that I've determined is good for me and the people that listen to me. It's easy, it's tangible, it's got clear-cut rules. I struggle with being able to teach VPA for a couple of years. And when people ask me, what's VPA, it was hard for me to quantify it to them, other than telling them to go read the book. And I think the 3Cs accomplish that, at least to a point where someone who's very beginner can understand VPA. So I highly encourage you to read that book. NASDAQ is coming off 770, and then after that 753. We're coming up on London close. Big right here down to 753. Here comes the this pivot right here. 753 after that. We'll look for lows, but of course the 3 C's will get you there. 752. Nice little move there. I'm not a part of it. Like I said, I'm not trading NASDAQ at the moment. But we have that test of 753 with volume. Bounced right off of it. Your 3 C's are awesome. The books just help. Nice. Beautiful. I appreciate that. I've been trading exclusively SPY. Yesterday, I made a blunder that cost me 50% of my capital, only for it to blow past and would have been in the green. Hopefully, I can be like you, this consistent green months this year. You can do it. You can do it. I've had an absolutely extraordinary month, which what that does is it takes all the stress off me. Because if I come out in February and have a let's say I come out in February and I blow up all my props, and let's say I take a couple of bad trades on IBKR, I'm still up for the year. I'm still in the green. Because that's the beautiful thing about props. I've made so much money on props this month that I could blow up everything I have, and I can even reset them twice each. And still, I'm going to be deeply in the green on my overall P&L. So it's good. That's why prop firms, you need one good month to pay for 6 months worth of bad prop decisions, and you're solid. So become consistent. Keep that in your mind when you're getting ready to go on tilt and reset 78,000 times. Just tell yourself, I just need, just chill out a little bit and come back strong. Did you mention you're making a video about the SR flip? I am. Top wick here at 780. If this fails, we'll go down into the low pricing of about 650, which is only 100 points down. Oh, I forgot. The guy sent me a mock-up of my new website. I need to go look at it. Top wick. Five minutes till the European close. Don't ever let one trade blow up 50% of your capital. 100%. The number one rule in trading is always leave yourself in the fight. If you risk everything on one trade, when you're wrong on that, you will essentially end your career in trading. You've always got to leave yourself in the fight. You could even leave yourself just a little bit of money, and you still are in the fight. I've had prop accounts where I was $100 away from blowing it, and I come back and I take a massive payout off of it. You've got to leave yourself in the fight. Bounce right off of it. Boom. With volume. Very light volume, but it's there. Put buying, call selling. That's what we have here. It's 25,785. Silver possible 3C bounce. Volume spike, highest volume candle of the day. Right here on silver. Boom. Bottom wick. If you're looking on the 5, you need this line right there. That's your 3C. I played a 688 put yesterday for $1.29. Went down to 96 cents. I didn't respect my stop loss of $1.15 and paid for it. Only after I sold did it go to 1.7. I feel you've been there, done it, man. I've been there, done it. NASDAQ bouncing off of this beautiful line, which is that big pivot from 730. 3C long on gold too. I think silver is past top steps percentage rule. Is it really? Oh, 16%? Man, I didn't even notice that. 16%. Holy smokes. It's down 18 points. I told you one of these days this was going to happen. I mean, I think everyone knows that. I mean, I'm not claiming victory there. I'm just saying this doesn't surprise me. You can't have all that upside without one of these days like this. Watch, it'll be back to green tomorrow. All right, that is the end of the stream. Haven't taken a single trade on ES or NASDAQ, and that is why. It's terrible, terrible price action. You could have got something in there. I mean, 930 to 750 is not bad. It's almost 200 points. But I just didn't get anything going on it. I did take some silver trades, which worked out pretty well. Made a little bit of money on Top Step here. But that's it, man. It's been a fun week. So I'm very much looking forward to kind of chilling a little bit. We're going to get into next week with a bang. And hopefully I don't lose electricity again. So if you have any questions, please hit me up. If you're new, we had a lot of new signups this week. Get into the channels and ask questions. Shoot me a DM if you must. I prefer you don't, simply because I've got a crap ton of DMs I have to catch up on still. But if you must, I'll get to you. Other than that, man, hope you have a good rest of the weekend. Stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you next week. I'm out. See you.